The COVID-19 pandemic has challenged mankind. As it continues to unveil its disastrous reality, so many voices have been heard almost everywhere. In the social media, the chorus has been huge. Within this chorus, it has been possible to single out the voice of Reverend Father Dufe Joseph Italy. His consistent and informative write-ups have been shining so brightly that most people have tended to visit his Facebook page almost at a regular basis. Father Dufe, what is it that guides your navigation in the social media?
Before the COVID-19 pandemic broke out, I had long been evangelizing through the social media. I started it while I was studying in Rome from 2004 to 2006. At that time, the Yahoo group was the main mass mediatic channel. Mass in the real sense of the word, that through it one could get to a large number of people at once and within a short time. Shortly after that, Facebook surfaced, and now we have WhatsApp and the other various channels. I am convinced that Jesus is telling us to make good use of the social media to spread the word. But unfortunately, some people are still very skeptical about this. The church is encouraging this to a great deal and has written documents about this, some of which I studied during my moral theology specialization courses at the Alphonsian Higher Institute of Moral Theology. While studying in Alphonsianum, Rome, I did a course on ethics in communication, my favorite along with medical ethics. So far, in the use of the social media, I limit myself to only WhatsApp and Facebook because I also avoid prostituting from one application to another. And these waste a lot of time, quite a lot of time. So nothing is actually new to me.
How did you get in there, Father?
Online evangelization is an extension of the pulpit. It opens up to a variety of audiences, thereby challenging the preacher to be inclusive. And I've tried always to be such. My major inspiration came from the way St. John Paul II made use of the social media even towards the end of his earthly life. How within a minute he would reach millions of people in the world. This inspired me to take as topic for my license thesis Pope John Paul II, Communicator of Hope to the Young People, with the subtitle being Authenticity as an Essential Element of Communication. If you are inauthentic while communicating, you end up communicating falsehood rather than the truth, and you get imprisoned and can only be set free by re-embracing the truth, because it is only the truth that can set us free. When communicating, it is not just about exporting ideas and facts. We communicate our whole selves in the process, our past, our present, our feelings, our dreams, our future, in fact, the totality of whom we are. You cannot speak a word and distance yourself from it. One of the persons among many who encouraged me to go on with online evangelization is the Bishop of Kumu. Bishop George Mpuo once accosted me and congratulated me for the effort I was making in being faithful to the Sunday reflections on the Shundra Yahoo group. He told me that he himself benefits from those reflections for his own spiritual uplifting and for that of others. And he advised me never to quit that pulpit. These are his words, never to quit that pulpit. How else could I expect to hear God telling me to keep on? That's a servant of God, that's a pastor of God, telling me to remain faithful to the spreading of the word of God and to do so in the social media.
What are the major challenges you face?
Online evangelization is very challenging. You meet persons of various backgrounds, some who are searching for a meaning in life, some who are searching for where to vent their frustrations, some who are just like looking for a little push in their faith, some who are just idling around in the net from one application to another. You meet them in WhatsApp, you meet them in Facebook, you meet them elsewhere, and some who are newcomers. You also meet some who have been online veterans, some who are good at misunderstanding even what is as clear as water. You meet some who are searching for a garbage heap where to drop their problems. In short, the virtual world is just a replica of the real world, with the difference that since you don't see faces, the emotions are not easily controlled. But nothing should ever stop you when you are determined to share knowledge which mankind badly needs. I have for years learned to handle my temperament in every human encounter I engage myself. While doing online evangelization, I have had to do the same. But when the worst comes to the worst, when someone keeps misbehaving, I simply show the door or just click the delete button. You cannot open your house to someone to come in and keep insulting you and distracting you from concentrating on what is useful for many. You cannot keep your door open for filth.
I see you navigate online with the COVID-19 pandemic with dexterity. What is the secret?
The COVID-19 pandemic has been a very challenging time for everyone. It all started with jokes and cartoons. As time went on, people started getting at home with the terminology. Musicians composed dancing songs out of it. If you wore a mask, they laughed at you. Now it is at home. No more jokes. The music genre has changed to that carrying messages and sung in soft meditative music. Now, when you don't have a mask on, everyone wonders if you are coming from the planet Mars. Generally, people are getting at home with the stark reality. As time rolled on, I started engaging on what I call pandemetics, ethics in a time of pandemic. This has to do with the required human behavior in the face of a pandemic. The first thing in such a behavioral pattern is always to obtain the right information and then behave in a responsible way such that the language becomes we, us, and not any man for himself. I happened to be fortunate. I don't know whether to call it fortunate or unfortunate to have been in Italy at this time. Italy is the hardest hit European country even until now. My presence in Italy has given me the chance to have first-hand facts about the pandemic and to share it online on my Facebook page even before the pandemic ever reached Cameroon. You cannot imagine the number of hard words I receive from some people sometimes. Some think I am praying that the pandemic should reach Cameroon. Well, it has reached, whether we like it or not. One must be from a dream world to think that a pandemic would spare some areas of the world. And now, Cameroon is where it is. Many come back to me to thank me for having warned them beforehand, for having helped them gain the required knowledge about the coronavirus. Some even think that I am a prophet, as what I kept saying seems to be happening step by step. I am not a prophet. I was just talking out of observed facts from the lived experience in Italy.
What is the general pushing force?
Yes, what is the general pushing force? This is a very good question. I believe in always seeking to know the truth and to share the truth. The truth is embodied by a number of principles. And if you live by principles, you will avoid being surprised by any situation. You will avoid making mistakes. Human beings should not wait for some calamity to happen, then they start searching for applicable principles. No. When you live every moment of your life as an opportunity, each time a new thing happens, you just continue addressing it as you have been doing others. There might be some slight adaptations though. Take for example the recent application of the herbal treatment principles of Monsignor Samuel Cleda to the coronavirus. This is a man whose 30 years experience has just been applied to the current health crisis, no more no less. What did he do? He simply studied the symptoms of COVID-19 and applied the treatment he has been applying in similar symptomatic cases. This is what we call the inductive method of doing science as opposed to the deductive method. In this method, you don't get surprised by happenings and then start from scratch to make new laws, or you don't start to call on the World Health Organization, which is a general principle, to answer on-the-ground emergencies for you. No one would listen to that. The common man is ready to take what is at hand as long as it solves his problem, and that is Monsignor Samuel Cleda. That is what he is underlining. World Health Organization or no World Health Organization, if people get well, that is what is required. World Health Organization can then come in later to ask those people who got well how it feels. But they will not dig corpses and check out facts from them. Even if they were to dig the corpses will never talk. That is how I operate. When I loiter online, it is not just aimless loitering. I know what I am looking for, and I know what I want to offer to the people I meet online. While some people are still thinking of where to address the COVID-19 pandemic, I just simply click a button and many get the information which I am supplying. You would have noticed that almost all my online sermons these days touch the pandemic. Any preacher who does not speak the language of the time is a failure, even right at the start of his ministry. Christ is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
A last word, Father.
Yes, the social media has come to stay. COVID has come, and we are praying it will have to go. But the social media must help it go. Each day, a new face is added to the social media. If you are not inside, you are lost. But when you are inside, be careful, because the people you meet there might not be exactly the replica of what you will one day meet in a face-to-face encounter. So be nice to the people you meet in the social media. This is the secret of online ministry. And this is what keeps me going. And I'm happy about it.
Boston Sui so ya 7.